Hi, I'm John Lloyd Young. Had a great time talking to Franz.
Thank you.
I'm from the original cast of Jersey Boys. This is our album. And you're watching this only on musicalworld.tv.
Voor onze zomerspecials gokten we deze keer maar eens hoog. We vroegen hem om een interview en hij zei zomaar ja. Terwijl hij afgelopen zondag nog lang uit in de Los Angeles Times stond. Niemand minder dan Tony Award winnaar John Lloyd Young van Jersey Boys. John Lloyd, we are in Los Angeles. That's pretty far from Broadway. What are you doing here?
I came out to Los Angeles to do Les Miserables at the Hollywood Bowl in front of 17,000 people. We did 3 performances and I played Marius.
And I can see them now, the very words that they had sung.
I did my first movie, which was a comedy with Lainie Kazan, who played the mother in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I don't know what the Dutch translation of that would be.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding in Dutch. And she played my mother in a comedy about a Jewish family whose son is gay, but they don't know. It's called Oy vey, my son is gay.
I'm gay.
Oy vey, my son is gay!
And the other adventure, of course, was the most talked about TV show in Holland, Glee. You were in episode 3?
I was in the second episode.
Oh, the second, yes.
I was actually the first guest star invited to be on the show of anybody. And played a very interesting and surprising character that I guess we'll let the Dutch audiences wait to see. And I didn't sing a single note.
No.
It was very interesting. This is my award that I gave the creators of Glee after I filmed my episode, because it was only the second episode of the entire show and I lost my thumbs, so as my character lost his thumbs, so I decided to give my thumbs to the creators of Glee.
Can't get her out of my head. Miss her, kiss her, love her.
Wrong movie, Dad.
I loved the episode, but I was sad that you suddenly disappeared. Will you ever come back in the show?
I don't know. My ex-girlfriend is the star of the show, so
who is the ex?
We'll have to see.
Leah Michelle.
Yeah, so I may not be back on the show, at least until maybe after her character graduates high school.
And in the Los Angeles Times, I read last Sunday that you even exhibit your own art.
Well, I'm a huge fan of visual art. I love Calder and Jeff Koons and Warhol and Rauschenberg. So they're just, I love visual art, and so I started doing my own visual art. And we were talking before when the camera was off about the idea of ready-mades. I'm really having fun making mixed media creations, and Sunday was my debut and it was fantastic. Yes. It was a lot of fun. With this artwork, it's to entertain, and I've found a fun way of mixing media that I haven't seen as an art fan. I haven't seen other people doing it, and so for me it's like a fun way of expressing things that I think I like the idea of taking a can of Spam and making it into jewelry, or like something like that you revere and you put in a case. I mean, I think that's a funny irony.
Told my girl we had a breakup, hoping she would call my bluff. Then she said, to my surprise, big girls don't cry.
I spent almost 10 years cutting my teeth in New York as a theater actor, and Jersey Boys was sort of the pinnacle of all of the work that I put in for the beginning of my career, and it was this huge, overwhelming success of a show. So for me, that was like graduating high school, and now I moved out to Los Angeles to try new things. I did my first movie. I did Glee, and I just had my visual art debut, so it's a really exciting time right now. It's like an exploratory time. I did the most that an actor can do on Broadway, and can go back to Broadway in the future. And now while I'm still young and vital. This is where I want to try my new things, and I'm really excited about the possibilities here and the things that I've already started to do.
You never had a feeling that you peaked too soon in your career?
At my age, no. At my age, it's more just like a beginning than a peak. No, there's no such thing as peaking too soon in a career. It's actors refer to like roles of a lifetime, and I happen to have a role of a lifetime at 29 years old. But the great thing about being an actor is you age into your future roles. When I'm 50, I will be appropriate for 50-year-old characters, and so you can hit the role of a lifetime more than once in a lifetime.
Yes.
I'm aging, and there'll be things that I grow into. There'll be things that come my way that are not right for me at this age, but that will be right for me at that age. And I could have another staggering success again in 10 years. So for me, as an artist, it's about what's right ahead of me and doing it as excellently as I can. And if you're lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time and have a role like Frankie Valli and Jersey Boys, then go for it. And with that show, obviously we all went to the moon with that one.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you.
Instrumental in your success was a review in the New York Times by Ben Brantley.
He was very kind to me. That year was the year that Philip Seymour Hoffman won an Oscar for Capote.
Yes.
And this was my first Broadway show, and my first ever major New York Times review. I'd been in plays that had been reviewed by the New York Times, but I'd never been singled out. And so here I am opening in my first Broadway show ever, and here comes this New York Times article that then compares my performance to Philip Seymour Hoffman in Capote.
Yes.
And that wasn't where it ended. It was an extremely positive review for me. So I was already overwhelmed by everything that was happening just being on Broadway, period. And then to have the toughest theater critic in New York laud your performance in such a way, it was just, I couldn't even really process it. It took months for me to understand the impact of that. It was really around the time the Tonys were happening when I realized how important that review was to my career, because it was sort of a reference point as we were gaining momentum and there was competition for the Tony Award. That was a really strong thing that I had in my favor and that the show had in its favor. Was those not only that review, but all of the amazing reviews that we had gotten as a show, period. We had a lot going for us because of those, because of the critical response, and clearly we had the audience on our side.
I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm the lonely night. I love you, baby, trust in me when I say, oh, pretty baby, don't.
I have to discuss this, your Tony Award. Were you surprised when they called out your name?
There were 3 other major awards that led up to the Tony, and we were clearly the favorite show that season on Broadway, so there was a lot of fanfare. I was very nervous that I wouldn't win, but when I did, I was just relieved. I wasn't surprised, I was relieved, because we had worked so hard, against all odds really, because we opened in an environment where people didn't expect our show to succeed, because it was a jukebox show, because I don't really believe Jersey Boys is a jukebox show. I think it's more of a biography of a band. And we opened to very low expectations, and we blew the top off of all the expectations. So there was so much fanfare, so much hype and excitement leading up to the Tonys that winning felt like relief more than it did like surprise.
Would you have been angry if you did not win?
I would not have been angry. I would have been disappointed.
Oh, pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray. Oh, pretty baby, now that I found you, stay and let me love you, baby.
What did the Tony Award bring you?
It brought me a great deal of sort of respect and admiration that before I had everyone was excited about the role that I was playing, and they were excited about this new hit show. But actually winning the Tony Award confers on you this sort of a status that when you walk into a room or get invited to an event, they respect you, they honor you in a way that when you're new to Broadway, and doing a great job in a show, you don't. The treatment is a little bit different. It's more like you're accepted into the fold of really well-established and respected Broadway performers, and you'll always be in that club. It's like it feels a little bit like you've been invited into a club.
You're just too good to be true.
Personally, it was extremely gratifying and felt like the actual Tony. Every time I see it, is a physical reminder of the hard work that I put into my show and that everyone else put in. It's a really warm memory to see it every time I see it. It just, for me personally, it just was it's like a benchmark, a reminder of really good, hard work.
My eyes adored you. Though I never laid a hand on you, my eyes adored you. Like a million miles away from me, you couldn't see how I adored you.
What do you think of the statue?
I think it's the most beautiful award of all the awards.
Why?
Well, I love silver, first of all, and it's a silver award, and it's this disc, and it has some action on it. It moves. In fact, just a sec.
So close, so close, and yet so far.
This is what. So here's the Tony.
Oh, wow.
And this is what I love about the Tony is that it moves.
It is a real Tony. Yeah. Well, I must confess...
Do you want to hold it?
Yes, please.
Who loves you, pretty baby? Who's gonna love you, mama?
But this is really an award. I'm going to be very unprofessional now.
But here, it's heavy.
No, it's not.
Well, it has some weight.
Okay, it has a weight.
Baby, when you're feeling like you'll never see the morning light, come to me.
But see, now you know how it felt.
Yeah.
When this is how it feels to have a Tony.
Right,
It's exciting, especially if you follow Broadway and you love Broadway. And I loved Broadway my whole life. This is like it is like an Oscar for theater people.
Wow.
And to actually have one in your own home and to touch it,
yes.
I remember the first time I ever saw a Tony Award. I had just graduated college and I was doing a play at a theater that had won the Regional Theater Tony Award. They give to theaters around the country. Every year they give one. And it was in a big case, and I was right out of college and I was totally wet behind the ears, just starting out. And I remember just being fascinated, staring into the case at it. My first real live Tony, and now I have one. So this is a very happy thing.
Wow.
Baby, you'll see. Who loves you, pretty baby? Who's gonna help you through the night? Who loves you, pretty mama? Who's always there to make?
Thank you very much, John Lloyd. Thanks for having us. And
well, you know what? Before we say goodbye, I have a surprise for you. And I know you're talking to Frankies all over the world, but I have a unique surprise for you.
A unique surprise.
A unique surprise that only I can give you. It's the original cast recording, which is now platinum. It sold over 1 million copies, signed by me, and I'm on this. So this is you can only get this from me. And it's my gift to you, and I wrote to France there. So
thank you very much.
It's great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck. Send my best to Rick tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Send my best to Rick. Hi, Rick. And great luck with Jersey Boys in Holland. I hope I get to go see it. I hope it's a huge success, and all of the people who watch this website, you need to go see this show. It is a fantastic show, and I'm not just saying that because I was there, in the original cast.
Who loves you, pretty baby?